Did you vote? Seriously, though. Don't need you here if you didn't vote. You still have time. You have 59 minutes and 47 seconds remaining. You can vote that mail-in ballot that has been sitting on your counter for weeks now. Go drop it off at one of the many drop boxes out there, or you can still vote in person at a polling location. There is time, 59 minutes, 35 seconds. I want to show you the website that you can put in your address and find a place near you. There is absolutely no excuse to do this, even if you are not registered to vote. Right now at 6 p.m. on election night, you can go, you can register on the spot. I'm telling you, you can do this. Even if you've convinced yourself that you are not going to vote this year for whatever reason. You have 59 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Don't worry about this program. I'll see you here tomorrow night. For everyone who did vote, thank you. Settle in. It's election night. Let's get started. This is next.
Politics gets a bad name. Politics is just the process by which we, the people, make decisions together, and together decide to pick some more people to make some more decisions. Having a choice, it beats the alternative. Having information also beats the alternative. So I'll lay out the scenarios, how this night in Colorado politics might play out, race by race, from a red wave to a blue tsunami. Dirty tricks and worse continued right up until the end. But so did the best of politics, people helping people make their voice heard. Colorado's come a long way since we did it old school. A new way to look at election night is next.
Politics loomed large in Colorado's biggest non-political story of the day, that being the guilty plea by Christopher Watts, the father from Frederick accused of killing his family. A prosecutor laid out the uncertain future of the death penalty in this state and the fact that a future governor, like our current governor, could refuse to allow an execution. And that was a key reason today why they allowed a plea to life in prison. Christopher Watts said guilty 9 times in court, admitting that he killed his pregnant wife Shanann and their 2 young daughters, Bella and Celeste. Prosecutors say the victim's family signed off on that deal after hearing that a death penalty conviction in Colorado is absolutely no guarantee of an execution in a state that has the death penalty but does not use it. Denver police were out at the home of a political activist today, the guy behind Amendment A, the push to strip a reference to slavery out of our state constitution. Jamoki Emery planned to spend the day handing out flyers for his cause until he says somebody burned them on his front porch.
Yesterday around 3:30, I was at work. I got a call from my wife. She was obviously upset and distraught. She'd found someone had burned Amendment A campaign flyers on her porch. We want to amend the Constitution so that it reads, there shall never be slavery nor involuntary servitude in this state, period. To me, that's incredibly important. What happened on my porch isn't indicative of Colorado values. I'm angry, I'm upset, but I'm also determined. We didn't burn this on our own lawn. We didn't fan these flames. Politicians across the country have been. The flames that are on my doorstep right now, we didn't do that. The strength of our work is way too important for us to risk for some publicity stunt.
That case has been handed over to the DPD unit that handles bias-motivated crimes. The sea is the metaphor of choice in politics these days. Red wave, blue wave, and perhaps you too feel like you are drowning in predictions. So let me throw you a lifeline, an explainer on what is likely to happen tonight, depending on how that tide turns.
If there's a red wave deep below the radar of every poll, if Republicans are secretly more enthusiastic than it seems, well, we'll know it because Walker Stapleton will pull the upset and beat Jared Polis in the race for governor. Only a red wave can lead to a Governor Stapleton. If there's a red wall, enough to hold off a rising blue tide, then Republicans will hold the Colorado State Senate, a check and balance against a Governor Polis. If the blue wave crashes ashore, as polls generally predict, well, then a Governor Polis could have fellow Democrats controlling both houses of the state legislature. And perhaps Coloradans would hand the Attorney General's post to the same party as the governor for the first time since 1975. An Attorney General Phil Weiser, a Governor Polis, a true blue legislature. Together, they could remake Colorado into a far more liberal state. If Democrats' dream of a blue tsunami rises, what it might just wash away is much of Colorado's oil and gas industry. Proposition 112, opposed by politicians of both parties, could pass under that scenario. Plus, there's Polis, plus the legislature. Even the safest Republican in statewide office, Secretary of State Wayne Williams, he might be swept away. A blue tsunami could bring Colorado's first elected Democrat in that office since 1955.
It's a sign that somebody thinks they have to play dirty to win, and not just dirty, but illegal in terms of vandalism. Vandalizing the No on 112 billboard at Colorado and Mississippi. 112, you know, is the significant restriction on new oil and gas drilling. The yes side does not have a lot of money to put up billboards, so somebody decided to play dirty to give them a free one. Red light cameras. What do you think of those things? I'll just kick back and listen for the rest of the half hour. You go on, please. No, twice the state legislature voted to ban red light cameras statewide. Twice now, Governor John Hickenlooper has vetoed that bill. This evening, voters in Aurora get to decide if they want to blow through the governor's red light and get rid of the cameras themselves. The ballot issue in Aurora reads like this. Shall Aurora continue to issue photo red light tickets? If 50% plus one say no, they're gone. Not like tomorrow. The city's contract runs through New Year's Day, so Aurora's red light cameras would go dark January 2nd. We are spoiled in this state, spoiled by the ease of voting. Mail-in, drop-off, same-day registration, Denver City Councilman offering you or your ballot a ride to the polls. You didn't know that was a thing? Here's our Noel Brennan.
Hello there, sir.
Of all the ways
We thank you kindly for voting.
to drop off your
You
ballot,
have a good day.
we figured the drive-through
Sir, thank you for voting.
was most convenient. Until we hitched a ride
We're the mobile unit. Come on now.
with a Democratic councilman from District 9,
I think that's her.
Albus Brooks.
Yeah, I think that's her.
The politician offered pickup service to those who couldn't get away from work.
How you doing?
Good. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. We got you. And do you guys have any more staff that...
She went early this morning, and
Okay.
my midwives have got theirs all dropped off.
Wow.
So we are good.
Okay, great.
Thank
Good to meet you.
Likewise.
Yeah.
You guys have a great day.
Okay, take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Brooks posted his number to social media
We got up early.
and even offered free rides to the polls.
So when's the last time you voted?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Brenda Thompson
Let's do this, Miss Thompson.
may not have realized how easy it is to vote.
Our pleasure.
All right.
There are drive-thrus
All right. Thank you, sir.
and now politicians
24-hour mobile unit right here.
who will come to you. For Next, I'm Noel Brennan.
Term limits mean you don't tend to see the same names and faces on Election Day for decades on end in Colorado. Unless you were talking about the Reverend Josephine Falls in Denver. She's not asking for your vote. She's asking you to vote, to go down and visit her at Denver elections, as our Katie Eastman did today.
Hello, how are you?
Everyone has those days where they should just stay in
I
bed.
feel better, yes, I do.
But taking a sick day at Denver election headquarters on Election Day just isn't an option.
They tried to send me home yesterday.
No way, said Reverend Josephine Falls.
Oh, yeah, oh.
No way was she going to break her streak
Okay.
as an election
Oh,
judge.
thank
How many
you.
years you've been doing this?
35.
35 years. But you're only like 40 years old.
Oh, well, praise the Lord.
Try 40 plus another 50.
I'm going to give you 2, okay?
You drug your feet in the right direction this morning.
This is Charlotte Rio Tate's first year as an election judge.
Oh, yes.
She's inspired by Reverend Falls.
I'm 67 now, and if I could even get halfway to the years that she spent, that would be a blessing.
This job only lasts a few weeks.
I vote a sticker step right around this corner.
I built a sticker. Yes, indeed.
But it's not just about earning a few extra
And
bucks.
thank you for voting. Oh, hello. How are you?
It's a community of people who believe strongly that a single vote matters.
Yes, okay. How have you been?
You're here to do that thing, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
It's very, very important.
This makes me want to do this over and over again.
All right.
Important thing on earth.
That's right.
Reverend Falls
Very
might not
important.
have as many elections left.
Oh, well, proudly. Thank you.
But until 7 p.m.,
Thank you for voting.
she'll Purell her hands before every sticker.
Just a second.
The Rev doesn't call in sick on Election Day.
Oh, you have one? Well, come and get one of mine.
For Next,
Thank you. Thank you for voting.
Katie Eastman.
I hope that you will stick with me for our 9 News election night coverage across the networks of 9 News. Our live streaming coverage on 9news.com, it starts at 6:50 for a running head start before the polls close at 7. Throughout the evening, we'll be live online, on Facebook, on air, on Fire TV, and it goes on and on. A little different than how we did things back on 9 News in 1968. An old school election night photo we dug out of our basement. Look at that. They are doing handwritten updates to each state house and Senate race. Now, we placed the year on this, 1968, because on the far right, squint your eyes, you'll see the name John Vanderhoof. 20 years in the legislature before he became Lieutenant Governor Vanderhoof, then Governor Vanderhoof, when Governor John Love went on to join the Nixon administration. Fun fact, or maybe not so fun if you're a Republican, since Governor Love way back then, Colorado has elected just one more Republican governor.
Less than an hour until the polls close in Colorado. The experts spending the night at our side will tell us what they're watching for first. And we'll take a break from politics for one woman's small acts of kindness.
Words of encouragement, maybe the words that I needed.
It's not just election season, it's also mating season for turkeys, only this one's in love with the ladies of law enforcement. That's next.
Marshall. Election.
You go to a hospital you choose, but the surgeon who works on you doesn't take your insurance. Before you know it, a lien is placed on your home.
Affected a lot.
Guess what? In Colorado, it's legal.
I think nothing is happening because of the politics involved.
I was shocked that this is legal.
Consumers are the ones that are really hurt by this. Consumers are the ones who get those bills for tens of thousands of dollars.
Are lawmakers trying to fix this? Wednesday on 9 News at 10.
This place was saving my life, providing me that which I couldn't provide for myself.
The homeless and less fortunate just need a second chance and a second opportunity. The Food Bank of the Rockies is everything.
As a human being, we have an obligation to our fellow man. If you're donating for any other reason, you're donating for your own humanity.
We need your help. Donate non-perishable food, clothing, toys, and cash to 9 Cares Colorado Shares on November 17th. Give someone in need a second chance.
Todo está bien. Did you have a good summer?
I'm on track to do something good.
Our school, come on. We love weird kids.
This is me.
Place was like wow. It's gonna be great today.
I think that's amazing.
I want to welcome everybody.
That girl portrays determination.
That was a tight squeeze.
Oh, wow.
Keeping my fingers crossed.
These girls are too much.
Can I have your attention, everyone? That depends. Are you a cat video? Too funny. Here's your fish of the day. That day is last Monday. It's too wild. Together. Caroline's got a date tonight. It's not a joke. I'm really going on a date.
Stop it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna pee.
2 broke girls.
5 nights a week on Channel 20.
No more. It's none of my business.
No more. I'm sure they'll work it out.
No more. It only happened once.
No more. He said he was sorry. No more. Why doesn't she just leave?
No more. Not my problem.
No more. But he has such a bright future.
No more. He didn't mean it.
No more bystanding. No more ignorance.
No more excuses.
No more.
The idea that you're somehow harmed by hearing somebody's take on a subject, what's that about? You've got your ideas, you want to share them, other people have their perspectives. Let's bring it all together and listen to each other. These are the very fine people that I will be spending my election night with. I invite you to do the same. You're going to recognize some of them. A few might be new faces, but we hope they'll be informed perspectives to lend insight to what could be a pretty wild night in Colorado politics. Joined by our 9 News political experts, Republican Kelly Maher and Democrat James Mejia. Welcome back, my friend. And then we're expanding the panel tonight for some new insights. You know Whitney Traylor is our legal analyst on 9 News, and Laura Carno, you're plugged into grassroots conservatism in Colorado. Want to hear from all 4 of you on what's the first thing you're watching for at 7 o'clock. We got our first numbers out of the gate. Kelly.
I think the biggest story of the night is going to be the total number of voters. I think it's going to be a really big indicator. Early predictions had 2.1 to 2.4. I think we could blow that out of the water. We're seeing huge numbers up tonight.
James?
I think not only the gross number, we've got to look at where unaffiliated voters are going. They voted 63% in the Democratic primaries for the first time in the history of Colorado. I think where they go with their votes tonight is going to be a big indicator about where the state goes as a whole.
There could be an amplifier effect. Whitney?
Yeah, I'm curious to see actually how some of the corporate money is actually going to influence things, because so many of these propositions became more and more complex and voters didn't know about them. And if you'll notice towards at some point in the election, the ads were all about just no or yes on a specific proposition. They didn't even say what it was. So I'm curious, when we're trying to take money out of politics, if an uninformed voter was just influenced by the ads, which were paid for by the corporation.
And Laura, what are you watching right out of the gate?
I'm going to be looking at the overall balance of power in the state legislature. So do the Republicans keep the Senate? Do they lose the Senate? Is it a completely blue Capitol, or is there some sort of a red roadblock?
A check and balance perhaps on a potential governor Polis. All right, all 4 of you, please stick around. 6:50 is when we start our digital coverage. But for now, more than 2 million Coloradans have voted. They have turned in their ballots, but until we actually start getting results, we are done with politics for the remainder of this program. I am told we're also done with political commercials, but as you know, that's not my department.
A brisk November day, windy, cool, but lots of sunshine, clear skies tonight, and more snow headed for the high country. Our high below the average of 57 will go even colder the next 2 days. The coldest air stays north of us, but we're going to tap into just enough of that. With the next weather system arriving in the state tomorrow, mountain weather advisories may be reinstated. There may be a little snow tomorrow night around Burlington and North Platte. Some of that could push into the metro area Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Got about a 30% chance of snow, but no accumulation here. So tomorrow, another sunny, windy, and cool day. Mountain snow showers. No advisories posted for travelers at this point. And it's going to be a cold night tonight, followed by a chilly day tomorrow with that north wind, really just kind of the dominant weather feature for us. So clear, chilly, and 25 overnight. Tomorrow, our high temperature in the lower 40s with a 30% chance of snow showers Wednesday into Thursday, but no accumulation. Note Thursday's high. Warmer, windy heading into the weekend. Next chance for snow on Sunday. And speaking of snow, Loveland Ski Resort, 50 inches of snow in 7 days, Kyle.
Thank you. So they're not hidden gems. They might as well be. They're left for people who are walking to and from doctor's appointments at Denver Health, left by a woman who has walked that very same path. Here's our...
If you're here, chances are it's not the best day. You might be keeping your head down, burying yourself in your phone for a distraction.
Been looking for these rocks all over.
But if you happen to look up right time, right place, you might find a solid piece of comfort.
And I really poured what I was feeling into the rocks.
Margie Garcia's inspiration.
This is my granddaughter.
It comes from all over.
Started off with basic little stick figures. I'm not an artist.
Why she leaves these rocks here starts and ends at Denver Health.
And like you said it to me, you look really good. I would never imagine you're going through chemotherapy.
Margie has been battling a rare autoimmune disease for more than 4 years that can attack her own organs, including her brain.
In the past, Margie was in the hospital once a month at least, sometimes in the ICU. We've been able to keep her out of the hospital for at least a year at a time.
Her disease is not curable. Her treatment is harsh, and so is the anxiety. And she wanted something besides another pill to help her.
Forget where I am and what's going to happen. Years.
On her way to one of her many doctor appointments, Margie found this.
I carry it everywhere with me.
Then she realized if she created her own,
I think it's more of a repetitive.
she could help herself.
Kind of like me, coming here all the time.
And others.
People are holding them just like I did, and they're smiling, and they're wondering about the person who maybe painted them. And
turns out it's someone who's walked the same path.
I paint my rock, I let it go with well wishes.
For next, Anusha Roy.
Music would soothe our souls on a stressful night. Same goes for Denver's at-risk kids.
You know, we're talking about very vulnerable times in people's lives.
Jeffco deputies are forced to retreat.
Joe, get back. Get back.
Wild turkey. Not the kind that's going to get you through election night, an actual wild turkey. Next. I know people don't always believe this, but I'm allowed to speak my mind on this show, and I'm allowed to showcase your thoughtful perspectives, even if the bosses don't agree with them. That really does happen here. That's the strength of Next. It's important to hear things that we disagree with because lo and behold, we might change our minds. We also want Next to be a reflection of you watching at home. You're smart, funny, and you're unapologetically honest, even when it gets you in trouble. And that's what we hope that the show is as well.
Pete.
Just being here is something rare.
No.
For 5-year-old Marin Stecken. This is kindergarten at the school in Creed. This is a normal part of life.
So do you mind answering some questions for them?
Marin's mom, Honey Stecken, wasn't sure she'd get to. Genetic testing revealed Marin had a rare metabolic disease.
The moment those words came out, propionic acidemia, I mean, it was the worst case scenario.
It could make you very, very, very sick.
So the median lifespan is 5.
Under a strict diet, Marin can attend school, due in large part to a medicine that stabilizes her bodily functions.
Come on.
But just being here creates something rare.
It's kind of like, wow, I can picture my kid, she's going to go to school and you're very excited. But then there's this.
The medicine causes a chemical reaction in Marin's body, leaving her with a problem that sounds funny.
It just smells almost like rotten fish.
But is very serious.
My little girl is walking around smelling so bad that people do not want to be around her.
After years of frustration, Honey found this webpage and a product meant for feminine hygiene that prevents the chemical reactions which causes the odors. Now Marin can play with her classmates. Now Marin can get dragged around the floor.
Like all those images in my mind of not being asked to prom or maybe not having friends.
Now Marin's scent is just like any other kid's. Just being here, turning something rare into someone normal.
It will not be her problem. It's not her problem anymore.
Latina for me means family.
It means being part of a community where you're never alone.
Being Latina is being strong and independent.
Being Latino is really everything to me.
It's who I am.
Being Latina means celebrating life in a unique way.
Every now and then I learn something new from your favorite segment called You've Crossed a Line. Like today, I have learned if you buy a $200,000 Bentley convertible, it comes with as many parking spaces as you need. Just take them, they're yours. You bought them with the vehicle. Linda spotted this VIB, very important Bentley, in the Venice restaurant parking lot in Greenwood Village. That is a nice car though. I mean, that's sweet. If you want to tell somebody they've crossed the line, email next@9news.com or use the hashtag HeyNext. For some musical artists, high school was the start of their careers. A new podcast is exploring those early starts of artists. It's a project of Devotchka's Sean King together with some youth co-hosts. Our Byron Reed gives us a listen to My Youth on Record.
Okay, let me see the lyrics.
Shawit Hailu likes to surround herself with creativity. She says it gives her motivation to get back on track after taking a break from music.
My mindset as an artist is completely different than not being surrounded by artists, so this is a great space.
Hailu is perfecting her craft at Youth on Record, a nonprofit that's been giving at-risk youth access to music education for about a decade.
Hi, this is Sean King, host of My Youth on Record.
They even started a podcast back in May.
It transcends many generations.
To let teens make an instant connection with their favorite local artists like the Flowbots and Devotchka.
Let's go back and talk about the moments that really matter to people. What was their first experience with music? What was the first song they wrote?
I remember 7th grade year, I started kind of playing drums at home.
You know, we're talking about very vulnerable times in people's lives, and I think it's really relatable for everyone to know what it was like to feel broken.
And recently, they're given some good news.
Our podcast, My Youth on Record, received money from the Music Advancement Grant, which has been amazing.
The city of Denver handed out $100,000 in grants through the Music Advancement Fund to help 30 local music projects like this one.
And it really shows that they acknowledge our work, but also it shows that the city really cares about the arts community.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Giving artists like Hailu a place to learn and a chance to get in tune to what's next.
Here is, they teach you everything, plus they walk you through everything because you are just growing into being an adult.
For Next, I'm Byron Reed.
Youth on Record says the grants that were given out were up to $7,500, and those funds will be used to pay the students who work on the podcast. A wild turkey wants something from 2 Jeffco deputies, and let's just say they're not willing to give it to him. That and your feedback next.
Happy birthday!
Thank you, dear, very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. And every time I see you,
You're not fooling anybody you know. Think young. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
We don't have to agree. Let's just talk. Next, weekdays at 6 on 9 News.
For Thomas, also known as Detour in the art world, work continues night and day. He's moving on from his usual subjects.
Painted Jay-Z, of course, right here.
To paint people who aren't world famous, but fascinating.
This is me. It's roses mixed with line work and my face.
He's drawing attention to the lives of local women of color.
A lot of times when a lot of people of color go to a museum, it's really hard to find individuals that kind of look like us in these masterpieces. So for me, it's really important to start putting people of color, especially females, in my life on these beautiful portraits. So that way, in 100 years, people will look back and say, okay, they were represented, they were here.
And his muse, Tanya Saleh, is an artist in her own right. And her face is popping up all over town.
So I painted Tanya 3 times.
I think this one might be my favorite. You only see what's on the surface, but you have to dive deep into a person to see who they are. It makes me proud and it makes me grateful that I could be an inspiration to someone.
The colors on these walls radiate confidence.
That girl portrays determination.
And it's reactions like that.
Now they have something beautiful to stare at with a positive message.
That keep Detour working day after day.
To take people from these neighborhoods and to amplify us, it's kind of like we're still leaving our mark.
I want them to feel proud about themselves and how they look and who they are.
The most Colorado thing we saw today is what the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office called an amorous turkey in pursuit of 2 deputies. They tweeted body cam video of this slow-speed, sexually charged chase. Named this guy Deputy Tom.
Go on. Hey, hey.
I called this turkey mating season. Bernie Peterson correctly corrects me and says that turkey mating season is in the spring. So Bernie, if it's not mating season, that guy there is just really, okay. All right, let's move on to what Nancy Lawton said about our old school look at election night on 9 News, 1968. Hand drawing results as they came in. Nancy says, I did this at Channel 9 back in the 1950s. Nancy, that sounds like a spectacular story. Would you email me, please? Next at 9news.com. I would love to hear more about what it was like on Election Day back in the day. It appears that no small amount of you really loved our spoof political ads that we've been airing for the last couple of weeks here. We will string them together for you on the next Facebook and Twitter accounts. And I hope that we will see you for our election coverage streaming online at 6:50 and on 9 News throughout the night. See you next time. Subscribe to the next YouTube channel and I'll buy you a beer. Am I actually buying them a beer? This could be a very poor idea. We need some terms and conditions. Offer subject to terms and conditions.